1. The mind that keeps asking. You know what's funny? Even when the body gets slower, even when it takes 3 deep breaths just to stand up from the couch, the mind? Still racing, still asking questions. Not big questions like, what's the meaning of life? Nah. More like, did I leave the stove on? Where did I put my glasses? Wait, what day is it today? The questions change over the years, but the curiosity? That thing just won't quit. Psychologists call this cognitive vitality. It's the idea that our brain, even as we age, still wants to learn, to explore, to understand. Even when the legs say, let's sit down, the mind says, let's look around. And you know what? That's a beautiful thing, because it means we're still alive inside, still wondering, still imagining, still thinking about all the things we could do, even if we probably won't do half of them. But that's okay, because asking isn't about doing. It's about staying curious. And curiosity, that's what keeps the heart young. So if you ever catch yourself staring at the ceiling, thinking about something random like, whatever happened to that neighbor with the loud chickens? Or why do socks disappear in the washing machine? Don't worry, that's not forgetfulness. That's not old age. That's your mind still stretching, still dancing a little, even if your knees aren't. So go ahead. Ask your questions, even the silly ones. Because as long as your mind keeps asking, you're still in the game. 2. The kind of missing that never gets tired. There's something funny about getting older. You start missing things that you didn't even realize meant that much to you. Like the sound of an old friend's laugh, or the smell of your childhood kitchen, or the way your mom used to call your name when dinner was ready. Not just the words, but the feeling behind them. And sometimes you miss yourself. That version of you who could walk all day, who stayed up late just because, who didn't need reminders for everything. Small chuckle pause. That person still lives in here. Somewhere. But the body? Well, the body has other plans now. Psychologists say that nostalgia, that longing for the past, it's actually healthy. It reminds us who we are, what we've been through, what we've loved. Reflective beat. But here's the thing they don't always say. Missing something or someone isn't just about pain. Sometimes it's a quiet form of gratitude. It means, this mattered to me. This shaped me. This made life feel full. So Yasu, I miss some people who've gone. I miss places that don't exist anymore. I miss moments I didn't realize were special until they were already memories. But I don't see that as sadness. I see it as proof that I've lived, that I've loved, and that parts of me still reach across time, even if my knees don't reach very far anymore. Light chuckle. So if you find yourself looking out the window, thinking of someone or something long gone, let it come. Let yourself miss them. That kind of feeling? It means your heart is still wide open, still strong, still alive. And that, my friend, is a gift. 3. The dreams that still visit me. Sometimes, I close my eyes and I'm somewhere else. I'm walking down a road I haven't seen in years. The sun's warm. I hear familiar voices, maybe my father's, maybe a friend who's long gone. And just for a moment, I feel young again. Not in body, but in spirit. You see, even when the body slows down, the mind doesn't always follow. It still runs. It still dreams. It still opens doors I thought were long shut. Psychologists call it compensatory imagination. Fancy words, huh? It means when we can no longer do certain things physically, our mind keeps them alive inside us. A kind of quiet magic. So yes, maybe I can't travel like I used to. Maybe I need help tying my shoes. But in here, in this mind of mine, I've gone everywhere. I've stood by the sea. I've danced again in my wedding shoes. I've held my baby, who now has babies of their own. And you know what? That's not something to be sad about. That's a gift. Because the mind doesn't need passports, or strength, or permission. Just a little silence and a little space to wander. So if you catch yourself smiling at nothing, or tearing up for no reason, don't worry. That's just your imagination taking you somewhere beautiful. It's not silly. It's not strange. It's your soul remembering what your body forgot. And it means you're still dreaming, still alive, still you. 4. The desire to be heard. A voice that never fades. You know, as we get older, things change, right? Our bodies get weaker, our energy levels aren't what they used to be. But here's the thing, there's one thing that never changes. The desire to be heard. Does that sound familiar to you? Even when our bodies slow down, the need to speak, to share what's on our minds, is still there. We all want to feel like our voice still matters, don't we? That what we have to say is still important. Why do we always want to be heard? Maybe you felt it too. Over time, people get busy, don't they? Our kids, our friends. They have their own lives, and sometimes it feels like no one's really listening anymore. Ever felt like that? Like you're talking, but no one's really hearing you? But here's the thing. That desire to be heard, it's not something that fades with age. In fact, it grows. It's not just about talking, it's about being valued. It's about feeling connected. When we speak and someone really listens, doesn't it feel like, wow, my story still matters? It's powerful, right? So, why is this desire stronger as we get older? The need to be valued as we get older. We've lived through so much. Family moments, joy, love, even loss. We have so many stories to share. And honestly, don't you just want to know that your life, your experiences, mean something? That's what happens when someone truly listens. You don't just feel heard, you feel appreciated. You feel like your life, your journey is still important. Releasing emotional weight. Let's be real. As the years go by, there are things we carry with us, right? Things that have been left unsaid, emotions we haven't fully shared. Maybe you've felt this, a weight on your chest. But when you speak and someone listens with their heart, it's like letting go of all that burden. Have you ever had that feeling? The relief of just sharing is freeing, isn't it? Feeling valued when our bodies aren't as strong as they used to be. It's easy to feel like, well, we're not as important as we once were. Like we're being forgotten. Have you ever thought that? But the truth is, when someone really listens to you, when they make time for your words, it's like they're saying, you still matter. And that feeling? It's priceless. Why is this important for our mental health? Here's something that might surprise you. Being heard isn't just nice, it's actually really good for our mental health. When we feel heard, when someone truly listens, it helps us feel calmer, more at peace, and a whole lot more connected. And studies back this up. Being heard reduces stress, improves our mood, and honestly makes life a little bit easier. So, next time you talk to someone, remember you're not just talking, you're healing. It really does make a difference. How can we create space for people to be heard? Now, let's talk about how we can help each other feel heard. We all want to be listened to, right? But how can we make that happen? Take time to listen. In today's world, it's easy to be distracted, right? Everyone's rushing around, but sometimes just taking a few moments to really listen can make all the difference. Have you ever been in a conversation where someone genuinely listens and it makes you feel like you matter? Doesn't it feel amazing? That's the power of listening. Create a safe place to speak. Have you ever held back from saying something because you were afraid no one would understand? It happens. That's why it's so important to create a safe space. A place where people can speak freely, without fear of being judged. When people feel safe, they will open up, and that's when the magic happens. Listen with your heart. Sometimes it's not about the words at all. It's about what's behind the words. When you listen with your heart, you're showing someone that you truly care about what they're going through. It's not just hearing them, it's understanding them, and that's a gift we all need. 5. The power of forgiveness, freeing the heart, living lighter. Have you ever felt like there's a heavy weight on your heart? Maybe because of a hurt or a feeling of injustice. Even as time passes, sometimes we find ourselves still stuck in that pain, don't we? But here's something powerful that can help release all of that, the power of forgiveness. Sometimes we think that forgiving means letting someone off the hook, but in reality, forgiveness is more about freeing ourselves. It's about living with a heart that's lighter and more at peace. Can you imagine how much easier life would be if we could let go of that hurt? Why is forgiveness so hard? You may be wondering, why is forgiveness so difficult? Isn't it supposed to be simple? But forgiveness isn't about forgetting or excusing what went wrong. It's more about releasing the emotional burden we've been carrying. Sometimes we feel like if we forgive, we're somehow losing. It feels like we're giving in, like we're ignoring the wrong done to us. But they were the ones who hurt me, why should I forgive them? That's the thought that crosses our minds, right? But here's the thing, forgiveness is not about them. It's about us. It's about giving ourselves the space to let go of the weight in our hearts. Don't you want to live with a heart that feels lighter and free from pain? What happens when we forgive? Releasing emotional weight. Do you know that holding on to anger or resentment only keeps us stuck in the past? It's like carrying a heavy backpack everywhere we go. When we forgive, we let go of that burden. We give ourselves permission to breathe again, and finally we can move forward with a lighter heart. Ever felt that way? Like after forgiving, a weight just lifts off your shoulders and you can move on? Finding peace within forgiveness doesn't just free the person who hurt us, it frees us too. We often think that holding on to anger will somehow protect us, but really it only keeps us tied to the past. Forgiveness allows us to find peace within ourselves. It helps us stop being trapped by negative emotions. Don't you think that peace of mind would be worth it? When you forgive, you create a space for inner calm to enter. Improving mental health. Here's something surprising. Forgiveness actually boosts our mental health. Studies show that people who forgive experience less anxiety, depression, and stress. By forgiving, we let go of that negative energy that drains us. Forgiveness leads to happiness, calmness, and a greater ability to embrace joy. Why is forgiveness so valuable as we age? As we get older, we often experience more loss, more emotional pain. There are memories we can't recreate, relationships that may have been damaged, and words that went unsaid. And as we age, we start to realize just how precious time is. Forgiving in our later years doesn't mean we forget the past or condone what was wrong. It's more about choosing to value the time we have left and focusing on the things that matter most. Why carry around a heavy heart when we could choose peace instead? Imagine if we could forgive, we could enjoy life with more gratitude and less regret. Wouldn't that be amazing? How do we begin to forgive? You might be thinking, but I can't just forgive right away. And that's okay. Forgiveness is a process, but here are a few small steps we can take to start. Acknowledge your feelings before we can forgive. We need to acknowledge our feelings first. What we're feeling is real, and it's important to honor those emotions. Don't suppress your anger or hurt. Recognizing those feelings is the first step in letting them go. Forgive for yourself. Forgiveness isn't about the other person. It's about choosing to move forward with peace. When we forgive, we're giving ourselves the freedom to stop being chained to the past. It's about letting go of what's holding us back and embracing a future that's free from emotional baggage. Give yourself time. Forgiveness doesn't happen overnight. Don't rush the process. It's about giving yourself the time and space to heal. Some days will be harder than others, but remember, healing is a journey. In the end, forgiveness is about setting ourselves free. It's a power we can choose to embrace. Forgiving allows us to release the weight that's been holding us down, to move forward with a heart that's lighter and more open to the good things life has to offer. So, are you ready to forgive? To release the burden that's been weighing on your heart? Because when we forgive, we give ourselves the chance to live with more peace, more lightness, and more happiness. Forgiveness isn't about them. It's about us. It's about giving our hearts the freedom they deserve. 6. Simple hopes, yet profound. Sometimes we think of hope as something grand, something big, something that demands a lot of energy and effort. We imagine that hope must be filled with huge dreams, sweeping changes, or distant goals. But what if hope could be something much simpler? You know, when we reach a certain age, we often realize that simple hopes can carry just as much power as the grand ones. A hope to feel understood, a hope to be surrounded by loved ones, a hope for peace in our hearts. These simple hopes, though they may seem small, can be profoundly transformative. What are simple hopes? What do you think of when you hear the word hope? It could be a wish for good health, a desire to see your children and grandchildren happy, or just a longing for a quiet, peaceful moment to enjoy life. Simple, right? But here's the thing, simple hopes are often the ones that have the deepest meaning. These are the hopes that connect us to the most important things in life. And sometimes they are the ones that carry the most weight because they reflect our deepest desires and needs. Think about it. When we're young, we might dream about big achievements, travel, or success. But as we age, those simple hopes start to take over. We may just want to sit with a friend and have a peaceful conversation, or enjoy a moment of quiet. Simple, yet profound. The power of simple hopes, finding contentment in the small things. As we grow older, we start to realize that happiness doesn't always come from the big moments. Sometimes it's about appreciating the small things, a warm cup of tea, the sound of birds outside, or the laughter of loved ones nearby. Simple hopes bring contentment. When was the last time you paused and just enjoyed a moment like that? Those little moments of joy often carry the most profound meaning. They remind us that we don't need to chase after something huge to be happy. Happiness is in the now. Strengthening connections at a certain point in life, the people around us become our most treasured part of existence. The hope for connection, for quality time with family and friends, is a simple desire, but it's also one of the most powerful. Think about those quiet moments you share with a loved one. No grand gestures, just being there for each other. Those moments can be more fulfilling than anything else. Embracing peace of mind. Another simple hope we often have is the hope for peace. It might seem simple, but achieving peace of mind, free from worries and stress, can change our entire outlook on life. As we get older, we yearn for calmness in our hearts, for the freedom to enjoy life without the chaos of the past. And when we begin to find that peace, everything else feels a little lighter. It's a feeling of deep contentment, simple but so powerful. As we age, we often find that material possessions and worldly achievements become less important. What we start to value most is the simple, quiet joys that life offers. It might be a quiet evening spent with loved ones, a moment of reflection on a beautiful day, or the simple pleasure of feeling healthy and at ease. These are the hopes that bring us peace, and when we hold on to them, life feels more fulfilling no matter what stage we're in. Simple hopes allow us to live in the present, focusing on the beauty of now, rather than worrying about the future or lamenting the past. They give us a sense of purpose and peace. And guess what? When we focus on these simple hopes, we often find ourselves feeling more connected to the world around us. 7. Endless love. Have you ever experienced a kind of love that feels like it could never run out? A love so deep, so enduring that no matter what happens in life, it just keeps on growing? We often think of love as something that fades with time. We see relationships change, people grow apart, or life gets in the way of connections. But there's a love that doesn't fade, a love that never runs out. As we grow older, we realize that the love that truly matters is not the fleeting kind. It's the love that sticks around, the love that remains even in the toughest times. It's the kind of love that's patient, forgiving, and constant. And most of all, it's the kind of love that never ends. What is endless love? Endless love isn't about grand gestures or romantic ideals. It's not always about the perfect relationship we see in movies. Instead, it's the kind of love that's built on simple, everyday moments. It's the love that doesn't fade. It only grows stronger as time goes on. It's that love between parents and children, between lifelong friends, and between partners who have shared decades of memories. It's the love that exists not in big moments, but in the quiet, shared experiences of life. The kind of love that doesn't ask for much, it just is. Can you think of someone who has given you this kind of love? The love that doesn't run out no matter what? The beauty of love that never runs out, a love that grows stronger with time. When we're younger, we might believe that love is all about passion and excitement. But as we age, we start to understand that the most meaningful love is the one that deepens with time. It's the kind of love that's not about fleeting emotions, but about shared history, understanding, and a commitment to be there for each other through thick and thin. Have you ever looked back on a relationship and realized that your love for someone has only grown stronger, even though life has changed? That's endless love. Unconditional love. Endless love doesn't come with conditions. It's not about expecting something in return. It's the love that gives without expecting, that forgives without hesitation. This kind of love is not perfect. It has its ups and downs, but it's real, and it's built on a foundation of trust and acceptance. Think about the love you've received from those closest to you. Is it always perfect? Probably not. But it's real. It's the love that's there when you need it most. The love that doesn't end. A love that heals. Endless love has a healing power. It's the kind of love that helps us get through difficult times, that lifts us when we're feeling down, and that makes us feel seen and understood. When we feel lost or broken, this love has a way of mending us. It reminds us that we are never truly alone, no matter what life throws our way. Have you ever felt that comfort in the arms of someone who loves you? That feeling of knowing you're safe, loved, and cared for? That's the healing power of endless love. As we get older, we start to realize that love is one of the few things in life that truly matters. Everything else, material things, achievements, status, can come and go. But love, true love, is something that stays with us no matter what. In our later years, we may find ourselves longing for the love we've shared with others, holding on to the memories of moments spent with those who matter most. And as we reflect on the love we've given and received, we realize that it's the love we've shared that has made life worth living. So why does endless love become even more precious as we age? Because we start to see that love is what anchors us. It's the thing that gives our lives meaning. It's the thing we want to leave behind, the legacy that matters more than anything else. How do we foster endless love in our lives? Nurture relationships. Endless love doesn't just happen on its own, it's something we actively nurture. Whether it's with family, friends, or a partner, we have to tend to our relationships just like a garden. It requires time, patience, and care. So, how can you nurture the relationships that matter most to you? Maybe it's through small acts of kindness, deep conversations, or simply being there for one another. The effort you put in makes all the difference. Embrace imperfections. Real, endless love isn't perfect, It's messy, complicated, and sometimes difficult, but that's what makes it beautiful. If we want to experience love that never ends, we have to be willing to embrace imperfections in ourselves and others. We all have our flaws, but it's those very flaws that make love real and lasting. Are you ready to love without conditions? To love through the ups and downs, the good times and the hard times? Let love lead. Sometimes we can get caught up in our own expectations or fears, but when we let love lead, without fear, without hesitation, it has a way of guiding us to the right places, to the people we are meant to be with, and to the peace we seek. At the end of the day, the love that matters most isn't the kind that fades with time. It's the kind of love that remains, the one that grows stronger with each passing year. It's the love that heals, that endures, and that fills our hearts with warmth and peace. So what about you? Do you have this kind of endless love in your life? Whether it's from family, friends, or a partner, that kind of love is what makes life beautiful. And no matter how much time passes, that love will never fade. Even though our bodies may weaken over time, there are things that can never be stopped: love, hope, wisdom, and the spirit to keep moving forward. These are the forces that stay alive, even as we age. Remember, it's not about how our bodies change, but how we continue to share love, keep learning, and embrace each day. Life is full of opportunities, and every moment is a gift to be cherished. If this video inspired you, share it with your loved ones, and don't forget to like and subscribe so we can continue to share joy and the spirit of life together. Stay strong, keep loving, and live with purpose. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.